Hi guys, let's talk about Coastwatchers and where we currently are with our game design. So a couple of things. I reached out to an artist who has agreed to do a cover for the book. And in the conversation, they asked me about, do I have any maps in the game? And I thought, no, I don't, but that's kind of an interesting thought. And they do beautiful maps. And I thought that would be a shame to not work with this particular artist and not have a beautiful map in the game. And so we're going to add a map. Pretty simple, but it's not. And that would explain the Lone Wolf and Cub videos, because that's a solo game that has a little bit of choose your own adventure that has a map. And I happen to remember that, and I had that in the closet, so I pulled it out, made a couple videos. So it's been a while since I've had this revelation. It's been a while since I've had this revelation about adding a map to the game. So the game is getting a little more complex, which is fine. It's going to be what it's going to be, right? Excuse me. The next thing I thought of, I was playing No Man's Sky. And there's a bunch of different game modes in video games in general, and specifically in No Man's Sky. And there's some where it's just creative mode. You just run around and build things. And then there's a hardcore mode where you die and nothing gets saved. So they go to two extremes. And I started thinking about Coastwatchers, and I thought, well, what if somebody just wants to kind of read along, get the experience of the game, and not necessarily have to stress about survival, and just do it more as a interactive story. And then there are people who might want to play it on super hardcore mode, where every decision could be life and death. And then there's some players that want to play in between. So what I've decided is I'm going to put modes. So when you go into a paragraph, you're going to have options to go, in a basic, and hopefully the game won't be basic, but in a basic choose your own adventure, you're in a room, you can choose to go path A or path B. Well, this is now going to have path A or path B, but it's going to be 6 choices. Do you want to take the easy path? You want to go A, easy, A, medium, or A, hardcore? And because it's going to be at this level, you will be able to vary your challenges as you go along. So maybe one day you're playing and you don't feel like getting into combat or doing anything too strenuous, you can play the game that way. But maybe an event pops up or an option pops up and you decide, let me risk this a little bit. I want to play this a little harder. So you'll have the option to dynamically change the difficulty as you're playing the game from, dare I say, paragraph to paragraph. So working on a map and rethinking what I've already written in the casual mode, challenging mode, and hardcore mode. Those are the 3. I don't think I need to make this game any more difficult than I'm already doing. Excuse me, getting over a head cold. So anyway, that's kind of the update of where we are. I'm plugging away. I'm working on some subsystems. A couple of things I didn't like, I'm changing. And then again, like I said, the map has really kind of changed the way I'm thinking about how you play the game. And I think it's really going to make the game better, because you're at a location and maybe you need to move your hideout or your base. Well, you move it from one location to another location, and as you're traveling across the map, you're going to run into encounters. Or you have to travel from your camp to maybe an advantageous position on the island for observation purposes. And placing scouts out there, and then how long does it take for them to get back? And if it's time-sensitive information that you're putting out, that's going to come into play. I'm also thinking of doing, and again, this would be on the hardcore mode, because once I started thinking about modes, I started thinking about doing the Playfair encryption and timing yourself. So as you decrypt or encrypt a message, and again, this is solo play, so you know, you gotta be honest with yourself, but you time it, and then depending on how long it takes you to do it will point you in a direction of success or failure, or the fact that your information that you sent wasn't in a timely enough fashion. So maybe it's not a great victory, but it was still useful, or geez, we would like to have known that a half hour ago, because that information is now basically useless. So there's that dynamic, as well as putting some real-time puzzle solving into the game on the hardcore mode, so that, you know, in the Playfair cipher is not all that difficult, but once you put a clock on something, then you start stressing a little bit, right? It just adds a little bit of excitement. So that's going to be in the hardcore mode, timed encryptions or decryptions, probably mostly decryptions. I'm not sure I'm going to have you encrypt anything. I'm not sure on that, but right now I'm just leaning to decrypting messages, and that's going to be an abstraction to sending messages and receiving messages, but gameplay wise it may just be decrypting them, and again, abstract to you sending messages both ways. So you might decrypt a message that would make logical sense of one that you sent, but I'm going to take a little game design license there to keep it from being too overly complicated. But that could change. If you do have comments on whether you want to do encryption and decryption or just decryption, let me know in the comments. But that's kind of where my head's at with doing that. And again, timed on the hardcore mode. Man, I'm really stumbling on words today. Anyway, guys, just a quick update. We're still plugging away on the game. Like I said, it's growing. It's getting to be a little more of a beast, and I'll probably trim some stuff out. That's how my designs go. They go big, and then I trim them down, and stuff creeps in, and then I cut it out, and that's just the normal process for me. But anyway, maps and game mode are added with timed puzzle solving. So we're making progress. Until the next one, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you then. Goodbye for now.